Hey investors, Bradley tuning in, and today we're going to talk about the plan that the City of Toronto unveiled, which included $24 billion to handle housing issues across Toronto. It spans over 10 years. It has 76 actions, 9 targets, and I want to highlight for you the big things that they're planning on doing, which could provide a huge opportunity as investors getting into the market or thinking about coming out of the market, and where you want to go and where you want your money to be spent on different housing types. There is a lot of stuff that can come out of this, a lot of juicy information, and it all starts with understanding what the HousingTO action plan is, because we had a 10-year plan from 2010 to 2020, and this is our new plan, 2020 to 2030, and it's going to have some big impacts. So there's an article that I found in CBC that starts us off perfectly. It says, Mayor John Tory is throwing his support behind a decade-long action plan that would see all 3 levels of government spend $23.4 billion to help more than 300,000 people deal with housing issues. So I want to share with you today some of the major aspects of this. And before I get started, my name is Bradley. We do videos like this all the time. I am a broker. I'm an investor in the GTA. And the whole idea behind this is to keep you guys informed on the marketplace, so you guys know exactly what's going on. And if someone asks questions, you can educate them, but also so we can find opportunities and understand where we stand. In a lot of this has to do with politics. A lot of this has to do with affordability and the crisis and challenges we have here. If we can address housing in general, we won't have a lot of the problems that we face on. I mean, I would say Toronto is not too bad on the world stage, but even still, if we have an affordability challenge, it can pose some problems. And beyond that, the other reason that this is huge is it actually redefines housing as a human right. And so there's a lot of meat that's packed into this particular document. And so I want to share with you what I think is some of the highlights, and really summarizing all of these down, having read through it. Maybe not a whole document because it's actually really long, but some of the major points. And I think it also starts off with the executive summary, which I actually want to read for you because I think it gives you the guts. And what I really love about this executive summary of it is it doesn't hold back. It's very blunt in the way that it speaks. This is just an excerpt. The evidence is clear that during the past decade, Toronto has experienced a housing squeeze. Many residents are stuck in and stressed about finding and keeping a place to live. The last decade has also brought rapid change to the local and regional housing markets. While the housing market has boomed in recent years, at the same time, it has left an increasing number of lower and moderate income residents in an environment where rental and ownership costs have surpassed affordability levels. For individuals, our city, our region, and our country to prosper, again calling on other levels of government, meeting the challenges of providing adequate, accessible, appropriate, and affordable housing options for Toronto and the region's residents is a job that must be done well. There is no room for half measures or patchwork solutions. I love that. I love when they come in so hard and just so solid on their points. And they are very serious about applying this action plan, which is why it's so interesting. So what it claims to assist is over 341,000 households and creating 40,000 new affordable rental homes being approved. Now, we've done videos in the past where we talk about purpose-built rentals. So rentals, there is a huge need for rentals. I would say in 2020, this is the first year that we may see a decline in rental rates, which of course affects the local investor because you're not able to charge as much. But it's also due to a lot of movements like these, which is causing rentals to be built, which if you are a local investor in a single family home, for example, or renting a condo, that is your competition. And as much as we would love to see housing made available, the flip side is you can't charge as much. Although your home value goes up 20%, doesn't mean your rents, I mean, legally you can't do that, but you understand what I'm saying with all the reno evictions and all of the challenges landlords have caused tenants in hopes of charging a higher rent rate. Those things are going to be fewer and farther between. I guess that's a proper way to say it. So let's jump into the main facts, the main items that are being addressed in this HousingTO 2020 to 2030 action plan. The first one is as mentioned, creating the 40,000 new affordable homes. So this includes a few things. One, there's 18,000 new supportive homes. Supportive homes approvals for vulnerable residents, including people who are homeless or at risk of being homeless. So dealing with the homelessness in Toronto. And out of these 40,000, a minimum of 25%, which would be 10,000, would be dedicated to women and girls, including female-led households. So also a lot of this plan is trying to deal with minority groups or, for example, Aboriginal or Native Canadian individuals, for women or people, for example, the homelessness. So people who have additional challenges in getting housing statistically are dealt with in some of these figures in some of the plans. Number 2 is preventing 10,000 evictions for low-income households through programs. So this I found very interesting because we've done videos very recently actually on some of the moves, speaking specifically to the renter. There's a video we did, I think it was called the 10 things every renter needs to know before getting a rental unit, something to that effect. It wasn't that long ago we filmed it. And that was an awesome video because it laid out all your rights and all the ways that you need to protect yourself and understand things from the standard lease agreement to understand land and tenant board and how all that happens, and resources and phone numbers you can call if you have challenges with your landlord. But part of that whole deal was this idea of reno evictions. People saying you need to move out because I need to do an improvement, or you need to move out because I need to move in my family or myself. Now there's certain protocol for all of that, but the percentage of that happening is through the roof, hundreds of percent over on the reno eviction side. Unbelievable. And so having a program like this, the city's eviction prevention in the community program called the EPIC program, whoever named that program needs a raise. So that was number 2. Number 3 is housing affordability. Now this encapsulates many points. Okay, I created this as a really summary because of course housing affordability is one of the things that they're trying to address. So this breaks down into a few things. 1, improving affordability for the 40,000 households. This is different than the original 40,000 that we heard with the new homes. This is affordability for 40,000. So made up of 31,000 households receiving $4,800 per year per household in housing benefits. Also 9,000 households to continue receiving housing allowances. So that's more of a rollover from the prior program. Also maintaining affordability for 2,300 nonprofit homes after expiry of their operating agreements. Providing support services to 10,000 individuals and families in supportive housing. Assisting 10,000 seniors, so also talking about people that have statistically higher risks in challenges, but they are specifically for long-term care facilities. So that's keeping the seniors in the long-term care facility. And providing property tax relief for eligible seniors. Providing home repair assistance to low-income senior homeowners. Redeveloping long-term beds and creating new beds utilizing provincial investments. And a lot of these overlap with initiatives that the provincial government already has. So the hopes being that they're going to drive the money that they're spending to programs such as this in the city of Toronto. And supporting the creation of additional 1,500 long-term care beds. So I know that was a blanket statement, but you get the idea. Affordable housing, keeping people in their homes, beautiful. Number 4 is improving housing conditions for 74,800 households. So just under 75,000 households being repaired and revitalized in Toronto's housing stock. I have seen so many articles talking about the deterioration of housing and the need for repairs. And I think this is what this is speaking to. This is why the city wants the amount of money, $24 billion, because these plans are not new issues. These are things that need to be fixed. So 58,500 Toronto community housing units. Think of that, 58,000 units to be repaired. Revitalizing of 8 TCHC communities to add 14,000 new market and affordable homes with 5,000 replacement homes across the city. And bringing 2,340 provincial or private rental homes to state of good repair. So there you go. So if you've got a private rental home, there's an opportunity for you to get it to in good repair. So there's money also being handed out to small-time investors of private rentals. And then the last one, which I also love this for people who are looking to get into investing early on, is assisting 150,000 first-time homebuyers afford homes through first-time municipal land transfer tax rebate program. Now, for those of you who are not 100% familiar with the municipal land transfer, Toronto is an exception in having this. This is not a normal thing across our country. Toronto has a municipal land transfer tax on top of their land transfer tax. And as part of that, they'll often offer rebates in the same way as our land transfer tax that everyone else faces outside of the city of Toronto. So they're looking to give that a boost, and they're expecting to help 150,000 first-time homebuyers. So pretty much every first-time homebuyer over the next 10 years would receive some kind of rebate in addition to the one that they're already receiving for that municipal land transfer tax. So that's good news for people who are first getting into the market. It's also the land transfer tax, just as a little bit of a side point. This is the reason that I tell people, if you want to invest in the city of Toronto, and this includes right downtown and anywhere in Toronto, because this municipal tax exists, and because specifically the rebate exists, if your plan is to own multiple properties, you want to own inside Toronto and outside Toronto, my advice generally, all things equal, is to own in the city of Toronto is actually preferable on your first property simply because of this rebate. And so strategically, to allow for an additional rebate is just that much more powerful for the first-time buyers. Now, there's people that would make a case that, this is just a temporary municipal tax. It could be removed. That would be amazing, and we would have a celebration and party. But the truth is this is a big generator of tax and wealth for the city. So I'd love to see that happen, but I'm not going to hold my breath for it.